with all the big calls on all the big races. It's Friday, it's time for another What a Shout. Myself, Dave Orton, delighted to be back in the chair with you. Another fine weekend of racing ahead. We are really racing into the jump season now. The form book is totally bedded down. Thrilled to be bringing you, shall we call it the Feature Racing Post Gold Cup on Saturday from Cheltenham, and a meeting at Doncaster. We've got all the Irish stuff as well coming your way. Loads of comments. Like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube with our sponsors, Bet365. Anything on Twitter, hashtag What a Shout. Who's on the panel with me today then? Let's have a little look down. Delighted to say Graeme Rodway, assistant betting editor of the Racing Post, is back in the chair.
Yeah, good to see you, Dave. How are you?
I'm well. It's been a slow week, I'm not going to lie. After a bit of a boozy Monday with you and basically everyone who was racing. It was a great day, wasn't it? Are you over that one?
Yeah, I had a good day on Monday. It was great to see so many old friends at the HWPA Awards, wasn't it? It was obviously 2 years since the last one because of COVID last year, and good to catch up with everyone.
We made it count, and lots of people coming up and giving you adulation because of these crazy opinions that you have. You're going to be giving us some today?
Maybe.
We'll see where it goes,
Yeah,
shall we? We'll poke the bear and see how we get on. All right. Another man that was there from our sponsors, Bet365, Pat Cooney, where are you?
Yes, back up in Stoke-on-Trent, but so I passed the vet from Monday, so we're good to race today.
Yeah, congratulations to our winners, of course, that day. Lee Mottershead, Racing Writer of the Year, Chris Cook, and of course, many nominations as well. All absolutely fantastic stuff, and the other winners as well. It was a really, really good day. And this is the beauty of the HWPA and why I was delighted to be back. I bumped into a certain man in the bar, and our guest this week, it couldn't be any better actually. Tom Malone, bloodstock supremo, joins us from his base.
Happy to be on the show.
Like a hot potato, that, wasn't it, to Tom? Well, I'll believe you, Tom. It's great stuff. Listen, Tom is going to give us unbelievable insight into the runners that are mainly at Cheltenham, Doncaster, all over the place. Tom's, it really has been a massive success story. Members Club offer coming up then. Your chance to get involved and subscribe to the digital newspaper and unlimited online access in the Members Club. That's right, you can try it. 3 months, just £15. Of course, it has been a sad week for racing as well. Independent panel yesterday on Thursday afternoon found Robbie Dunn, jockey, guilty of bullying and harassment of colleague Bryony Frost. 18-month ban for Robbie Dunn. Everyone's had an opinion on it. Racing Twitter's gone crazy. We can finally move on. The bravery of Bryony was there to see for everyone, no matter what your opinion. I think we can all agree on that. Tom Kerr, excellent comment in your morning paper on Friday. You can get that on your Members Club as well. Do read that. G, what do we make of this week?
Yeah, it was obviously a very sad week for racing, wasn't it, Dave? Sad week for both parties, of course, and I agree pretty much with everything that Tom Kerr wrote in his column today. Very sad episode, and let's hope that this never happens to anyone again, Dave, because it sounds like it was quite nasty business, and let's hope that we can have some positive change for the future going forward.
Pat, let's bring you in for a final word on this.
Well, good comes out of bad, really, doesn't it? And let's hope we can go forward. Hopefully it'll encourage young females to considering coming into the racing as a career to now kick on and really go for it. But I'll give great kudos to Bryony Frost. She's been riding winners and riding to a high level of form. So well done her. But if it's all about the future, hopefully this will put it all in place to make it a better story.
The verdicts have been given then. Time for racing to move on. If there's going to be one winner, let's hope that things change for the better. And let's now be positive about what we've got going on with the rest of the show. Cannot wait for an interview with Tom Malone. That's going to be really interesting, isn't it? We've got 5 big race previews coming from your way. Cheltenham and Doncaster, and those all-important weekend winners. Right then, Tom Malone on the panel, making his What a Shout debut. Thrilled to have him on. Tom, listen, it's fair to say this has been a real success story. Myself and G, Pat, of course, my learned viewers out there will always remember you riding for Martin, Pipe, David as well. Loads of favourite horses out there. And it's fair to say towards the end of your riding career, you started thinking about what the future might be. I even remember you having a go on Sky.
Yeah, that was the time when they were stuck. I think it all started. I've always been looking for the next step. Even when I was riding, I knew there was only a short-term life expectancy for me in race riding. So I was always looking at other things. And as a claimer, I was in Exeter one day, and we were in the tea room, and the first race started and no commentary. And we thought the sound was going on the telly, so we were trying to get the telly working. And then it appeared that the commentator hadn't turned up. He got his days wrong. And after the first race, so there was no commentary throughout the world on race 1 at Exeter that day. Then the stewards put out an announcement over the tannoy, is there anyone that could help out? And was there anyone that had done point-to-point commentaries and whatnot? And I remember looking in the race card. I opened the race card and seeing that the next race was a 4-runner novice chase. And I said nothing, got up, walked out, and I said, I've done loads of it. I'd love to help. I'd never commentated on a race in my life. But I thought, how funny will this be? I'll commentate. The lads will be sitting listening to this in the tea room, and we get a right old giggle out of it. And that's how it all started. So before I said yes, I'd help, there was 10 people around me. Oh, thanks for helping. And I'm going, oh my God, what have I just gone and done now? This is funny. So how bad? I went up, commentated on the 4-runner race, and ended up getting presented with a plaque for helping out. Done a couple of the races that I wasn't riding in the afternoon, and then ended up getting work commentating in the Point of Points in the West Country. Ended up coming home to work in Ireland, doing a bit for them, which then led to working a little bit on Sky. But the whole thing snowballed from that one ballsy move in Exeter that afternoon. And I think the more doors you open, the luckier you get.
Well, listen, absolutely. Listen, one man sitting next to me can attest to that. It's G-Rod, isn't it? Let's face it. But listen, would you remember that? I do remember seeing Tom at the races and all that sort of stuff. He's a real character of the game.
I do vaguely remember that race at Exeter, yeah. Certainly the one that there was no commentary on.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tom, so basically, yeah, obviously, listen, you are where you are now. Let's put it there. We're all here, but you are where you are. But it was really your move into the bloodstock world that capitulated you to where you are right now, and it's fair to say it's been a tad successful.
Yeah, it's gone extremely well, but I suppose for the first 4 or 5 years I just had my head down and I just was in the car. I was riding horses, I was finding them, and the harder you work, the luckier you get. And I always maintain that's been the success. It's just every time there's a horse to be seen, I'm there, I'm looking at it, because I have found very good horses in the middle of nowhere.
Your latest graded winner, 300 through 5. That's the now. But, okay, I've teased it. Gold Cup winner, Native River. Grand National winner, my favourite of all time. 1 for Arthur. Scottish National winner, Mighty Thunder. So there's a real association with the Russell and Scudamores out there. And loads of horses running this weekend. One that's not running this weekend, your favourite horse now, I think we can say this, the public know it, is Bravemansgame. This is the man that found Bravemansgame. Ask him if you want.
Yeah, he's all right, isn't he, Bravemansgame, you think?
Well, ask Tom.
Jumps well, doesn't he, Tom?
Yeah, he's a phenomenal jumper, but this all goes back to the day he won as a point-to-pointer. I don't think they really realised how good he was. There was 3 meetings that day, and their number 1 rider went to another meeting to ride another horse. But what this horse done that day was he turned for home, he sprinted down the hill and absolutely winged out across the last to win 15 lengths going away. And I just remember watching it that day. And I remember we had no order that night to buy this horse. And I remember telling Paul Nichols, if we don't buy this, we might as well give up. I said, if we do not get this horse, we should not be buying horses. This is the one.
You've been vindicated there. I think you can see that.
Well, I think the question for Tom, of course, is 10 times out of 10, Tom, does Bravemansgame beat Bob Ollinger?
Well, what are you saying? As a racehorse at the end of a race or on jumping?
Well, this is the thing, isn't it, Tom? I mean, could this be a Sprinter Sacra thing, Tom, with the horse, where, of course, Sprinter Sacra only 4th in the Supreme, Bravemansgame clung on to 3rd, of course, in the Ballymore as Bob sprinted up the hill. Could it be that they might just level up with the jumping technique? It is, of course, a different discipline.
They'll definitely come together. Still got 12 lengths to make up with them. And I do think we have an awful lot stronger animal this year. The one thing about Paul's training, and I've been buying now for Paul for 7, 8, 9 years, some of our best horses, they can take a year or 2 to fully mature into the strength he needs to make him champion. And I think we have that horse this year. So I definitely think that the division of the 12 lengths, I definitely think there's going to be very little between them. And maybe our jumping will just see us be that bit better. Bob Ollinger jumped adequate on his chasing debut, but we're comparing him to something that jumps like an absolute beast and handicap that's been around forever. Has only had 2 runs over fences, but he's phenomenal to jump. He's just accuracy is phenomenal.
What people don't often understand about G-Rod is he's played quite a clever game here, because will they meet? That's the question. What do you reckon out there? Get your comments below. Great to chat to Tom. First of the big race previews coming your way this weekend. Let's go to Cheltenham, Prestbury Park, and it's got a lovely ring to it, this. It's the 150, the Racing Post Gold Cup. Better known as the December Gold Cup, of course. Are you going down to give out the prize?
I'm surprised they haven't asked me.
Well, that is a massive surprise.
I know that I do everything else in the Racing Post, but when it comes down to presenting prizes, they find someone a bit better looking than me for the photo, I think.
Well, let's just say that Chris Cook's a bit more local. So if you're lucky connections out there, you might get the front runner giving you the prize. Let's talk about the field before we go to Pat and get a market update. 15 runners set to go to post. Who's caught your eye?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great race, isn't it? There's lots of good chances in it, and the Paddy Power Gold Cup might be the key, mightn't it? 5 winners of the last 10, I think, ran in that race. I thought the horse to take from that race was really Dostal Feel. He obviously flew home, didn't he?
Are they going to be stronger stayers?
What, than
This is a
Dostal Feel?
tougher test of stamina. That's my worry. Aidan Coleman's on. I think you're right rider for the right horse. Big eye catcher, I agree with that. But he's going to be played late, isn't he? And we know what happens in these handicap chases.
Well, that is my...
You're going against your own advice. You were right with me and Kitty's Light in the Ladbrokes Trophy. I'll give you that one.
You're throwing back my...
I am. I've been waiting to do this.
My own negative at him, that he'll get behind in a big field handicap chase and won't be able to get back at them. A bit like what happened in the Paddy Power. And there is that thing about, like, he finished that race over a second faster than Protectorate did. And when you look at what Protectorate went and did at Aintree, you think to yourself, wow, that must be a decent horse, Dostal Field. But then was he ridden to finish the race like that? You know, he was held up, then flew home. I still think that he's got a better chance than Layla, the favourite. I don't really... I personally think that Layla's always been best fresh. I know that he had that wind up and sometimes they come on for him, but for me, Layla's the best fresh horse.
Of course, we do have the winner of the Paddy Power Midnight Shadow reopposing, called Cody, who, of course, previous last year's season winner. Where would he have finished if he'd have stood up? Well, one man that can tell us all about these horses, and I tell you what, Tom, seeing as you sourced him, perhaps you can tell me how to actually say Lalor, Laylor. Where do I go?
Laylor will be fine.
There we go. So you're not worried about him being fresh. Would he be top of your list?
He's the one thing about about this horse is he only started to believe he could race last time out at Cheltenham again after his wind up.
Cool Cody's the one, right? This is another one that you bought, Tom, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, he was a freak by $5,000, I think he cost, and he's contesting in Paddy Powers and Gold Cup, but he's one of the freaks.
You've fallen for a late run on Monkey. You've gone for it. You've gone against everything you've said. Absolutely.
This is exactly what Tom Siegel says about Zanza as well. Who's in the?
Who's going to tip him this time?
He's a late
Come
run
on,
Monkey.
not.
You know, he just gets too far behind, whacks every fence, and then absolutely flies.
The Hobbs team, of course, will be up in arms about this. You know, 2 lovely characters.
I'm not going to tip Dostal Field anyway. I was just setting you up for the big tip.
What? Well, right, okay. You're having more than one in the race, are you? How many do you want?
I'm back in Dostal Field, but Fusel Raffles is the one for me.
Right, again, Tom, give us the word on him.
Well, he's a commendable horse. You can't really knock his achievements, but there's stronger, better claims than him, I think.
That Charlie Hall was very eventful, wasn't it? And Kitty's Light, sadly, didn't too much reform. Christian Williams will be watching this thing. Come on, Dave. There's still a day in old Kitty. Shall we go to Pat, who's waiting in the wings? You've heard what we think. Pat, who's going to go off Fav? That's what I really want to know.
I think Layla will go off favourite because it was a good run. I noticed he's got cheek pieces on for the first time, and he is a very well handicapped horse, isn't he? But this has been a real wild betting race. The 2 movers in the last 24 hours were Beakstown for the Skeltons, and he's there off number 14, 10 stone 1, and Silver Hallmark for Fergal O'Brien. That's been a well-backed horse overnight. You look at Silver Hallmark, this is a competitive race. So he's only had 3 races over fences, so inexperience may count against him. I can't make my mind up about that race at Cheltenham a month ago. There were 6 of the horses ran in the race, so I'm going to go elsewhere for my fancy. What's wrong with number 12, Faraday, trained by Phoenicia Williams? She also has the top weight Sapage, who's there hopefully maybe to keep the weights down, and ridden by someone called Rachel Blackmore. That's a very interesting jockey booking for me. An unexposed horse, best days in front of him. Only 6, 10 stone 2. Rachel Blackmore, Venetia on a Saturday. It's all there.
It is the Racing Post Gold Cup. It's the feature race today. It's 150. Let's hear from some of our other friends about what they think's going to win.
My selection for the Racing Post Gold Cup handicap chase is Cool Cody. This horse was going really well when falling 2 out in the Paddy Power last time. He'd have gone very close that day. The rain has kind of stayed away and the ground should be perfect for him, and I'm expecting a really big run.
There are a few unexposed alternatives against him, but it's hard not to see Midnight Shadow playing a big part on Saturday in the Racing Post Gold Cup. The Yard are in fantastic form. Ryan Mania is riding out of his skin. The form of that win over Protectorat looks absolutely bomb-proof. And of course, we've not really seen him very much in handicaps. He's a fairly unexposed chaser in the grand scheme of things. The only horses who have beat him over fences are Chatham Street Lad, Itchy Feet, and of course All Mankind, who are all top-class Grade 1 or Grade 2 performers. So he likes the new course, he likes the old course, he still could have more to offer. So Midnight Shadow gets the nod for Sue Smith and Ryan Mania.
A lot of people will probably say that Fusel Raffles' victory in the Charlie Hall at Wetherby was lucky, given that Shamblu was miles clear when he fell. And they're probably right, but it was still a decent run over a trip too far. Back at 2.5 miles, the trip at which he finished a brilliant second to Chantry House in the Marsh at last year's festival, I think he's got a great chance. And round about 8-1, I'm going to be backing Fusel Raffles for the Racing Post Gold Cup.
Hi, Chris Cook here. My fancy for the Racing Post Gold Cup is Dostal Phil, who was fourth, of course, in the Paddy Power about a month ago. More stamina favouring conditions this time. We're onto the new course. We've got good to soft ground. I think that's good news for him. He was finishing really strongly that day. He came from a bit far back, 8th over the last, 4th at the line. In the circumstances, I think 7-1 very fair. The only worry would be he hasn't always come on for a run in the past, so you've got to bear that in mind. But I think he's going to go well. Good luck.
225, Grade 2 Novice Hurdle at Cheltenham. The next big race preview for you. Blazing Cow versus Gelino Bello. Again, Pat Cooney, let's come to you. This is a trial for the Albert Bartlett now over the 3 miles. Is Blazing Cow going to be one of the hot pots of the day?
Well, he's favourite at the moment. He's around about 11-8. The horse he beat that day at Cheltenham reopposes, Gelino Bello. And we're going from assessing a race over 2 miles 5 to now assessing it over 3 miles. And you watch the finish of that race, and I did think Blazing Cal was going away. Now he's worse off at the weight. So interestingly, Charles Burns says he's the best horse in his stable at the moment. Not something I'd ever associate Charles Burns as ever saying, but he's clearly a good horse. Of those two, I think Blazing Cal will beat him again. But they've both, he's got a £5 penalty. I was quite impressed with Barony Legends of Aidan Coleman, Ollie Murphy. Not quite there in the form book, but it was a wide margin win. He looked pretty talented that day, and you can back him around about 6-1. So if you're not sure if Blazing Cal and Gelino Bello, how that's going to go second time round, Barony Legends, I think, is a viable value option.
Thank you, Pat. I can tell you how that's going to go. Longer trip. Gelino Bello will absolutely love it. He's getting weight from him as well. Harry be a bit more positive on him. That Aintree form of Gelino Bello's has worked out extremely strong. This wins.
It's such a difficult race, this one, to work out, Dave, because Pat has already said we're working from a 2.5 mile race on the old course, which is, as Tom's already said, sharper. And it was a very slowly run race with a very fast finishing split. And it was a bunch of stayers all sprinting up the hill, and Blazing Cow just did them for a turn of foot.
Agreed. He
This
didn't
time,
jump that well, Blazing Cow, did he? So he's got that to improve on, but I don't know. This looks like a strong selection.
Yeah, Gelino Bello looked better off a good pace earlier when he won at Aintree, didn't he? He looked very good that day. I can't have either of them at 11-8 and 7-4 though, or somewhere around those marks. I mean, how can they both be less than 2-1? I think the one to back is Barony Legends.
Who Pat mentioned.
Yeah, absolutely flew home at Lingfield last time in the mud. That was the second best performance at the course this year on Racing Post ratings, only a pound behind a decent handicapper. I think that's really a good effort, and I think he's very smart also going forward, Barony Legends, and he's a much bigger price than the other two as well. Current Mood is the other one, of course, who was third behind Blazing Cow, and it's a weird race where they're all kind of intertwined, racing against each other. And
You
I've got
think
the
something
opportunity.
that totally...
Well, I just don't think that race at Cheltenham last time is all that. And
I thought the best horse was second.
when you
as I
consider
said.
that there's 3 horses coming out of that race in this, and there are 2 of them fairly short prices, I'm more than happy to take them on.
All right, it could be a big day for Aidan Coleman, couldn't it, Tom? Have you had a look at these?
I have, yeah. I think, if I'm being honest, it's Blazing Cal's race to lose. The stepping up and trip, I think, will definitely suit him. Gelino Bello is a decent animal, but I can't see, all right, the £5 turnaround, I can't see how he's going to make it up, really. I think Blazing Cal will win it.
In this race, have we actually found the horse that Tom hasn't bought tomorrow?
Is there anyone you've not got fingers in pies with? I'm assuming it's Blazing Cal, but you never know.
No, it's not. No. He's a fast one. I steer clear of fast ones.
Oh, there we are. All right. Okay, so listen, what a great preview that was. I was all over Gelino Bello until I got Tom's opinion. Shall we go up to the Town Moor at Doncaster? The third preview for you is the Bet365 Grade 2 Summit Hurdle for juveniles. Pat Cooney, you'll be there. Take it away.
Yes, and I would say this is the best UK juvenile hurdle run this season. So Triumph Hurdle quotes aplenty after the race. Fascinating race. Market headed by Porticillo, trained by Gary Moore. And he won at Wetherby on our Charlie Hall Chase weekend. Didn't jump at all well, but eventually got the hang of it, came clear up the run-in. Cheltenham's more his cup of tea than Wetherby. And so Doncaster, I'm not sure if the track would be ideal for him. Good race to go for. He's favourite. He's going to have to jump better. He could be opposable. Magistrato was a bit disappointing last time. He was second. He's our second favourite. He's hung left a couple of times, though, so hopefully Paul Nicholls will have worked the oracle with him. So on balance, you can look and find flaws in the front couple in the market. And at prices, I think 2 friendlies fair enough for Bridget Andrews and Dan Skelton. 2 from 2 over hurdles. Not necessarily there in the form book, but he just seems a more straightforward horse. I'd like Porticillo to jump better. I'd like Magistrato to keep straighter, and they'd have strong chances. But not guaranteed with that one. So I'm looking at 2 friendly at a price.
Yeah, Milton House, of course, got Night Realm in here as well.
Yep.
Now, before we get your idea of the winner, you know we have the man that bought the Triumph Hurdle winner, don't you, on the line. So before you give an opinion that he bats out again.
That doesn't surprise me after what I've heard so far, Dave. What hasn't he bought yet?
Well, that's a very good question. Calixios, Tom, a quick word on him, of course. That was a real find, wasn't it? And if you could, if you could put your name on one of these here, which one would it be?
None of them, because I know I have about 4 coming after Christmas that'll kill all of them.
Oh, that's what we wanted. There's your line. There's your line. The producer all like, yeah, get that down. All right, Tom, we'll get the names of that for the viewers afterwards. Who's going to win this race in particular, though?
It's a tough one, but they probably have it right at the prices. Porticillo beat Magistrato in Auteuil in the spring.
Again, I think the track might play more to Magistrato's strengths. That's why I've put him up. And he was a bit keen off a muddling pace. If something goes on, he'll love that, I think. And I would give him a chance at the swing of the weights. I know that Porticillo's beaten him at Auteuil, but we're talking about different ground, different track. I wasn't overly enamoured by his jumping. I'm prepared to see him win, but I thought slightly better value. Hopefully, as Pat said, Paul Nicholls got the magic wand out with him. G.
Yeah. What's not to like about Night Salute?
Night Salute, is it? I call him Night Realm, of course.
Night Realm. Well, let's just call him Night Salute. Yeah, because that's his name, isn't it? Yeah.
That would help. Oh, all right, 1-1 G.
Night Salute. Yeah. What's wrong with him? I mean, he was very good, I thought, at Cheltenham. He's already beaten Impulsive 1 at Kempton.
I thought the ground might be a slight worry for him. If there is supposed to be rain Saturday up at Town Moor, it may not be enough for him. He's a flat horse, of course. You look at it, it's all quick ground.
Yeah, he was like 100 rated plus, wasn't he? Flat horse. He was a good flat horse, and he seems to have taken to jumps well. I mean, I don't think we're dealing with a Triumph Hurdle winner in Night Salute, but I think we're dealing
Tom,
with
we're definitely not. We've definitely not got any Triumph Hurdle horses here.
He can win this race. Porticillo is the X-factor horse in the race, isn't he? I mean, when he won at Wetherby, he was absolutely superb, and he finished off the race really quickly. He ran the last half mile really fast, but it was a slow overall time. So you're thinking, well, they didn't go very hard, and then he sprinted.
Traditionally, it's not a strong listed race, that is it?
Which
at
one?
Wetherby.
Oh, at Wetherby, no. But he did it well, and he might be capable of better off a stronger pace. But we know Night Salute is capable of a good level.
You think we're looking at gift horse here a little bit?
Well, I think he's around 2.5 to 1, and to my eye, he's got just about the best pieces of form in the race. So he's the one for me.
Wow, substance over style.
Night Realm, or whatever it's called.
Night Realm, all right,
Yeah.
got it right. All right,
Yeah.
Apologies, Milton Harris. Okay, no Triumph Hurdle winners here, or are there? 3 o'clock, 4th big race preview for you. It is the International Hurdle. Pat Cooney, some well-known faces here. Who's going to come out on top according to the market? Song for someone, shortening all the time.
Yeah, Song for Someone has been very, very popular. Yeah, the only thing this horse has done wrong in his life, he pulled up at Aintree, but he's had a wind operation since. He may have been attempting mission impossible to give Buzz weight and a beating at Ascot last time out, but he finished an honourable second, beaten 3 lengths. He's got the course and distance form. He's a worthy favourite. May not be most people's idea of a value for money, but round about his price of about 7 or 4. We got the lovely So Royal as second favourite. He's going to run a big race. I thought maybe he had a hard race last time at Newcastle. That was a war of attrition, that race. So Song for Someone, I think he's the solid option. I think the wild card here, though, is Ballyadam. He went fencing 2 runs this season for Henry de Bromhead and Rachel Blackmore, and he's been beaten both times, so he's reverting back to hurdles, and his hurdle form is very high class. So I can imagine Ballyadam being a popular order here at around about his 6-1 because he's got that high level of novice hurdle form to the table. Song for Someone's probably on balance the most likely winner, though.
He loves Rachel Blackmore, doesn't he, Pat? Absolutely. You seem to think that Faraday might win the Racing Post Gold Cup as well. Is he talking toss or?
What, we've sung for, Ballyadam?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't fancy Ballyadam.
I don't fancy him at all either. Shall we see what Tom thinks and then we'll give our opinions?
Yeah.
Because I'm protecting you here because you're giving opinions and they're getting thrown out of the court.
He can't rip it apart if you don't know what I'm going to tip, can he?
Tom, let's go to you. Is this Song for Someone's to lose? Personally, you can back this out if you like. I think it is.
Yeah, I don't have a massively strong opinion on this race because I haven't heard years. I've seen Song for Someone run brilliant races and then one where I questioned his attitude a small bit. But I don't have a massive opinion on the race, to be quite honest. Joe Royal's been a brilliant horse for the Mineers. And I don't have a massive opinion on this one.
Oh, no, fair enough. All right, okay. Yeah, you've been protected. Let it out there.
I don't really know what to make of Song for Someone. I thought he was a great horse last year, and then suddenly the wheels fell off, didn't they?
But he came back in. It was a really good run.
Yeah.
Okay, in the Coral Hurdle, which he won the season before. So I will start building a confident case for him. I had this down to 2,
How
by the
good's
way.
Buzz?
Well, I was looking forward to this because again, when we put ourselves out into the public domain on Monday, the owners of Thoroughbred came up. They were looking for you everywhere, weren't they? Because you were very complimentary about Buzz. I think that form will be franked here, and I think he will outstay So Royal up the hill.
I like him. I do, Dave. But I'm not sure about him. I think
he won the race last year. This is the path.
And I know, and I was big about him this time last year, but I'm just not sure about him. I know he came back to form after wind surgery, but I don't know. Buzz was first and the rest nowhere, wasn't it?
But what Pat says about So Royal, again, he's doing what he did last year. Same path, isn't it? You know, and he's had 3 runs now, you know.
I mean, he's the bet, isn't he?
What, So Royal?
So Royal.
At the prices?
Yeah, the price, he's the bet. I mean, he's the best horse in the race, isn't he? No?
Well, I think Song for Someone might have something to say about that.
Yeah, but I think...
He's still only a young horse, you know.
I mean, what? So Royal, he's such a sort of... He's like... He's a weird horse, isn't he, So Royal? He's like grade 1 here, grade 2 here, So Royal's like here. He sort of isn't a grade 1 horse.
In between horses.
Yeah, he's not a grade 1 horse. He's not
he went really close in the fighting fifth, didn't he? Well, another blinder.
Yeah. But that race didn't develop for him because he likes sort of to travel and fast finish, and that turned into a real war of attrition, which he wouldn't have found. I don't know. He's like, I don't even think he's a grade 1.5 horse. He's like a grade 1 and a sort of just above 2.
Well, he is. He's not.
But he's a good horse.
He's quite a small horse as well. So even though he's gone over fences, so you've got that bit right.
He jumps
the rest
well,
of it's
anyway.
absolute.
Oh, he runs over fences. He wins.
Yeah, I know he does.
He's got better form over fences. Oh, anyway, he'll probably just win, Dave, won't he?
You're not. So you're So Royal.
I'll tell you what I think might run a big price. Hunter's Call.
Yeah. Okay. Came back last time.
Probably wants really soft ground. That's the only thing.
Well, he's not going to get it.
It was an amazing run last time at Bangor.
You're not napping in this race then?
No, I think So Royal will win it though.
Bit of a puzzle then, according to our panellists. Final big race preview for you. It is the final race at Doncaster up on the town more, the 3:15, the Bet365 handicap chase. Pat Cooney, 2 for gold. Looks like he could go off a strongly back favourite here.
Yeah, and you just keep coming back to him, really, don't you? He's top weight. He's the class horse of the race. Trained by a friend of the show, Kim Bailey. Stable going well. What's not to love, really? I've been trying to find alternatives. One at a sexy price is Corto Rico, number 4, Tom Gretton. Brian Hughes, an interesting jockey booking. There has been money for this fella since the final decks came out. He may be of interest at a price. But I just keep coming back to 2 for Gold. I just think he's the class horse of the race. But to draw a ring around Puerto Rico's name and see if that floats your boat.
I must admit, he caught my eye as well. This is a bit of a puzzle. Let's give Tom the opportunity to sour your opinion one final time, shall we? 150 is my issue for 2 for Gold. First time out, he's got a good record. The more rain up there, the better. He loves soft ground. He's the class horse, as we know, in the race. He's got to give weight to the likes of Fiddix, who've been on the go. Fiddix nearly was my tip. But I, like Pat, came down for 2 for Gold as well. My issue is the mark. But on his reappearance last year, he ran to a mark of 150, which is what he's on. So he just really needs to turn up in form, and I think he might just win. Right?
Yeah, I think you're probably right, Dave. You know, I don't want to agree with you, obviously, but I think you're probably right. He's just a solid, good jumper, isn't he, 2 for Gold? And he tries, he stays quite well, and he might just outclass them. Puerto Rico's an interesting shout because he's an old favourite of mine. I backed him in the Paddy Power Gold Cup, I think it was, or one of those, and he absolutely flew up the hill for a place. I think he finished 4th or 3rd last year, and he looks like he might want this trip. But there's a bit of a difference in it looking like you want this trip and then wondering if you're going to actually improve over it. I think 2 for Gold would probably win, but I could see why Puerto Rico could win if he improved.
Well, I think that's 3 sort of ticks. Tom, we're all going for Gold.
You go where you like for him. 2 for Gold wins this. The second favourite won't win. Puerto Rico has the capabilities, but can throw a bad race in more often than not, and the rest aren't good enough. So the mark isn't going to be his issue here. Is whether he can lump 12 stone round and give the weight away, which I think he will. I don't think it's as easy a race as he's contested for a while.
There have been some strong opinions. There have been some stinking opinions, according to some panellists. But finally, it took the final big race preview for us all to agree on 2 for Gold. It's the all-important weekend winner time, the bit you've been waiting for, and it would be remiss of me not to give the floor to Tom Malone.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Laylor in the big one tomorrow. I think if Paul Nicholls is telling me he's going to suit this track an awful lot more, and that the cheek pieces will just help him switch on when Harry needs him a bit more, I think we'll give him another go at this.
Oh, OK, all right, one of the graduates then. And Tom, come on, I've got to get it out of you. We won't have all 4, but just give us one of those top crack juveniles that you're coming up as you bid for a second Triumph Hurdle.
Yeah, we have a horse down at Paul Nicholls called Irish Hill. Bought him off the flat in France, and he should be out probably around Adonis time.
He's thinking, go away, Dave Orton, now. All right, brilliant stuff. All right, Irish Hill, you have been told, but tell us a weekend winner.
Mine is Night Salute in the Bet 365 Summit Juvenile Hurdle, or Night Realm, as you like to call him, Dave.
I've come round to Summit now, so it's
Night, no, not Night Summit.
What is it?
Night Salute.
Night Salute. Let's all salute the night. I didn't think you were going to nap that, I have to say.
Didn't you?
No, despite what Tom Malone says, despite what you say, despite what Pat Cooney says, I'm going for Gelino Bello in the 225. I think he will come out the best of a muddling bunch. Pat Cooney.
I have no doubt the best handicap horse running anywhere on Saturday goes in the 12:20 at Doncaster. Number 4, Stepney Causeway. Last time we saw this fellow, he was an honourable second to Edward Stone. We all saw Edward Stone impress at Sandown on Saturday. He runs off a mark at 135. He's way better than that. I expect him to win.
There you go. Lucky 15, 4-time or whatever you want. There are your weekend naps. And our weekly prize this week, a big green egg. Wow, topical, sizzling stuff in December. Well, that's all we've got time for then, sadly, on this week's What a Shout. It has been fun, hasn't it? Very much so. It's exactly how we wanted to end the week. Tom Malone, it's been great to have you on. Thanks ever so much. And good luck, Tom. There's a big sale going on down at Cheltenham on Friday evening.
Yeah, there's 70 horses being sold there this evening, so I'll get Paul Nicholls and my crew together this evening, and we will try and pick up a few of the next Braveman'sgames, hopefully.
Brilliant. Wasn't it great to have Tom Malone on? There's a few owners that will be trying to put him on mute, weren't they? Thinking, here we go, I have to get the checkbook out. It's Christmas time, man, for goodness sake. That was great insight, though, wasn't it, in all seriousness?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was great, but it was a shame that he just rubbished all my tips.
Well, that was surprising, wasn't it? Because he thinks you're right about Braveman'sgame, but maybe we've got a new sparring partner for you.
That's the one thing that everyone should take out of this show is that Tom Malone agrees that 10 times out of 10, Braveman'sgame will beat Bob Ollinger.
Don't worry, Tom. I hope you've signed off by now.
Mute him. Don't let him speak.
We would never put words into anyone's mouth here at the Racing Post. Pat Cooney, great to have you along. Enjoy your day at Doncaster tomorrow.
Yes, thanks very much. I'm there all 7 races, so come up and say hello.
That's it. The great man will be there on the town morn. We will be there in our droves for the Racing Post Gold Cup at Cheltenham, of course. Do enjoy that meeting. Do, if you enjoy the show, like and subscribe and give us your feedback on YouTube. Anything on Facebook, of course, and Twitter. It's hashtag What a Shout. So for myself, Dave Orton, loads of sport out there. Do gamble responsibly. Do, of course, download the free must-have Racing Post app. You can do that on the App Store or the Google Play Store itself. Enjoy the sport.